We're here on another episode of Salient Points number 36. This one's for August 27th, 2021. I've been getting the dates correct, I feel, lately on this here program. I am also your host, Carlos Macias, for Salient Points. Please to go check out wegotcoms.com for all your gaming related. You know what's for wacky stuff? It's like our depository, right? We got our podcast there. Go check it out. And we write some stuff on there as well. And please to like and subscribe, right, Dalan? That's the Dalan quote.
That's the new one for the day.
Yeah, and as per usual, we got Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountains. Thank you for joining me, sir.
Yes, I'm here for once.
Luis, yeah, you know, I said per usual, Dalan. You hang around. You know, you hang around. You're around. We also got Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel. Thank you for joining us, sir.
You already know.
You know what it is.
And
we do have a special guest this week. Dalan brought him on. Thank you. He's a longtime friend of Dalan, I believe. Tony Herndon. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Look, two things real quick, Tony. I do like the background. The background's really nice. If you guys are hearing the audio, go to check out the YouTube. But he's got a nice little blossom trees type of background. It looks nice. Whatever it is, it looks nice.
Thank you.
Also, a Laker fan. I know you noticed that, Luis. Look, we like the Lakers around here, but there's another team in town. Yeah, you know, there's another team in town. But hey,
Carlos loves his smoke a little too much.
A little smoke, but look, hey, thank you for joining us, man. You're gonna find out we keep it wacky around here. Not too wacky, but just a little bit wacky. You know what? One thing that slipped. What the Dalan? Don't start, man. Do you see what I'm saying? Like this guy's over here eating cereal, and then he's gonna bring out chips.
Last week,
yeah. Like that shit's the thing to do, man. No, we're doing a podcast, Dalan. We're doing a podcast anyways. Look, one thing that slipped through the cracks last week, which is a little funny because I think people know that, you know, if you're in PR, I'm assuming, or your market, you know, to throw some bad news at the end of the week. On a Friday afternoon, you start telling people it's like, that Halo Infinite that you were looking forward to, online campaign co-op, not going to be there day one. Also, The Forge is coming out 6 months after the initial release, which it's a little disappointing, especially for me and Dalan, right? Then we've been trying to catch up to all the Halos to play some online
Actually,
co-op.
I'm going to ask, what is The Forge? Because I don't know what that is.
Well, that's a good question. It's a good point, I feel, because I used The Forge a little bit, but I think a lot of people didn't really, man. I think the last time it made a splash was in Halo 3. It was kind of like you can set up the maps however you want, put whatever weapons in there. You know, it's basically what the Battlefield is doing with their Portal type of thing. So that was one of the things that we just barely missed it. Our show went live last week and we missed that. But like I said, it's Friday afternoon. So they're like, let's throw out some bad news out there. But we did get official release date. It's coming out December 8th. They just missed the 20th anniversary because, you know, the original Halo CE or Combat Evolved Dalan for the uninitiated /Dalan. It came out November 15th, 2001 for the OG Xbox. So they're just missing it. December 8th to me means they're coming in hot, dude. Like, they're coming in so fucking hot with this game. Like, they're like, we're not gonna get there before Call of Duty. We're gonna go past it, and we're not gonna release with online co-op and blah, blah, blah. So they're coming in so hot. You know what? I saw you nodding quite a bit over there, Tony. What do you think of this, man? Whether it's The Forge, or online campaign co-op, or the release date of being official, what do you think, man?
Well, honestly, I feel like because it's a live service game, to me, I'm actually not thinking that's that big of a deal. Like, if it was a single player game that wasn't a live service game, obviously that would be unacceptable to like get a patch later and fix it and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But honestly, to me personally, I'm going to jump in multiplayer. That's what I care about. I definitely want to do Forge and I want to do co-op, campaign, all that stuff. But honestly, it kind of works for me because I don't think I would even want to touch that stuff until 3 to 6 months later. So personally, it's fine.
Now Halo Infinite, you did say it's a live service game, but I don't think that's what it is, man. I mean, well, you know, a live service game to me, I guess maybe to you, it like you're saying, you're gonna hit the multiplayer, so to you, it probably would be like a live service game. But live service game to me would be more like a Destiny or something like that, or like what was that game in Brooklyn, Dalan, or New York, Manhattan, whatever it was. Don't be giving me a weird look, Dalan. The Division, man. The Division.
Oh,
okay. Now we know. Now we know.
All right,
now we
yes,
know.
You're talking about New York and DC.
But give me a weird look. But so you're kind of cool with getting the multiplayer. As long as they get the multiplayer out there, you're good. Did you were you able to get in?
I still want the Forge. I definitely would like to play it, but I'm not in a rush to play that.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it kind of keeps it alive. Where it's like, okay, we got the online campaign. Now we got the Forge. Now they could kind of promote that, right, as the next features, and they keep the game alive in that sense. But it's still a little disappointing that we don't get online campaign, right? Dalan, we're not gonna be able to play it day one, man. We're gonna have to wait to play online co-op.
Well, I don't mind waiting because I've already waited this long to even play the rest of the series, so it's no skin off my back specifically. But I was thinking that this live service portion, I think between the both of you, it's still live service. It's just one's PvE live service versus PvP live service. So I mean, the same thing. You should balance differently.
No, I don't think we are. Well, look, for Destiny, what it is, it's going to be free to play. It's definitely, they already said the multiplayer is going to be free to play. So that should be interesting how the game evolves that way, meaning everyone will be able to kind of jump in there and
I assume you mean Halo.
Halo Infinite. Yes, Halo Infinite.
Okay, you said Destiny. So I was like,
damn it. You know what? Look, Destiny, Bungie, 343, we don't know what.
That would be the first time that happens.
Hey, man, it's you're right. You're right, Dalan. I don't know what to tell you, man. And I don't like to be telling you you're right out here. Luis, what do you think about this, man, before we move on?
Nothing.
All right, fair.
Yeah. Oh, damn. I think nothing of it.
I like it. So I'll take 1 minute. Yeah, so December 8th is a weird date to me. I think that's really all it means is the fact that, like, this thing probably should have dropped September, October, or hit that November release.
But Wednesday.
And it's a Wednesday. Okay, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. It's also a Wednesday. But yeah, they definitely don't want to deal with that crater of the Call of Duty release date. So they're probably like, we're not quite ready. We're delaying features. Let's drop it in December. They'll be good. But other things that got delayed. Well, this is kind of a mix of like that first half of 2022 is looking kind of spicy, man. It's looking kind of hot. January 21st, we got Elden Ring. Pokemon Legends Arceus is January 28th. King of Fighters 15, February 17th. That was delayed, so that's been pushed to February. Horizon Forbidden West, another delayed game, February 18. SIFU, I think that's the one we're all looking forward to on the podcast, right? I don't know about you, Tony, but I know we are in the podcast.
Oh, he said he is.
SIFU, February 22nd. Destiny 2 is getting the Witch Queen expansion February 22nd. And also we got the announcement that there's going to be a Saints Row reboot February 25th. Then we got also Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga that's coming out in spring. So that these are kind of games either delayed, sort of pushed around. They probably would have been out this holiday season, right? But they kind of got moved out. I did throw in a lesser known one called Nobody Saves the World that's coming out early 2022. The only reason I care about it is because it's a drink box game. I don't know if you guys know, but they made the Guacamelee games. I believe that one game was Severed, which is a beautiful like first person dungeon crawly type of game. It's on the Vita too. It's kind of beautiful. Luis, did you? We'll go real quick because this is kind of the big one. But Saints Row, is that a big deal to you? Did you check out the trailer of it? Are you excited about new Saints Row or?
No, it's the same lines as along the same lines as Halo for me. I've never played a single one of them. I don't really care for it. I didn't see the trailer.
I like it. So what about for January, February, early next year? Anything that pops out to you? What's got you hyped?
Sure, pretty much half of those, I guess, or like a quarter of them. But I mean, it seems like they all got delayed to possibly avoid the Call of Duty crater that you were talking about, but now they're all launching at the same time, basically. So it's like,
they can't they could probably like cannibalize sales in a way, right? But I don't know. I think some of it probably is like what they've all been saying is COVID kind of got in the way, right? Could that have? I think that's all of them. Yeah. Dalan, what do you think, man? What about Saints Row? Now, you guys, do you care about that one?
Actually, I have no idea how the original Saints Row plays. The only one I know about is the one, I think it's called Saints Row 5, Take Me to Hell or something like that. I can't remember the name of that game. Yeah, that was the only one I actually played, and I only played it for like 10 minutes, and it was like a bootleg version of Grand Theft Auto to me, so I'm not sure how I feel about this. I mean,
never played it.
I mean, the trailer looks awesome, but I'm still like, Is this going to be another bootleg Grand Theft Auto?
They were all like second run type of Grand Theft Auto games. Like from the very beginning, the original was cool because it was one of the first like next gen, quote unquote next gen games. GTA 4 hadn't dropped by that time, but it was all plasticky. It was kind of weird. I think the series really hit its stride with I believe it was 3 or 4, where it basically ripped off Crackdown, and you could even play co-op. And it had, if you guys ever played Crackdown, it has all these little orbs. That was the whole game. Crackdown was the whole game, dude. Was you playing with the buddy, getting all the fucking orbs all around the world. What's got you, before we move on to Tony, what's got you most hyped for the first half of 2022, Dalan, or the first couple months?
SIFU, period.
Looks nice.
It's like SIFU is what's going to take up my time, and also right now I am waiting for the Witch Queen expansion to drop. But
we're all leveling up too. We're all leveling up, right?
We'll come back to that. Don't worry.
All right, Tony. What do you think of the Saints Row reboot? If you have any thoughts on that, and then like, what's the game that you're more hyped for the first couple months?
So for the Saints Row, the trailer was cool. I'm not a big cinematic trailer person. I mean, I get that they need to do it for marketing, but it doesn't really usually translate how the game is going to play necessarily. I think they had like a 10-second teaser for the gameplay part of it. I mean, it looks cool, but it's definitely not for me going to be one of those games where I'm just going to buy it day one necessarily. I'm going to kind of wait and see. I did like the older Saints Row games where they kind of like make fun of themselves, how much of a ripoff they are of Grand Theft Auto.
They're aware.
So I like that. But as far as the reboot, I mean, if they try to take it too seriously, I feel like that's going to actually be a bad thing.
Kind of a detriment to them, right? But yeah, I like it, man. It's like 3-1. Like I'm not even that hyped about it either. I just like open world games. I'm down with the Saints Row. I always like kind of like the underdog too. Like it's like, okay, well obviously GTA is king. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna show me? So I'm definitely I'm a little surprised that it's coming out so soon, February 25th, and they just announced it. So I don't know, man. I feel like this is candidate for like possibly delayed when we start getting closer to it. But I don't know, maybe they're ready to go. What's got you most hyped on this list here, the first couple months of 2022?
I think I'm going to shatter all expectations, and I got to say KOF 15.
Okay.
I'm really excited.
That doesn't shatter any expectations. I will very much play that game. That shatters no expectations. Yeah. If you've been playing fighting games as long as me and you have, then this is one of those games that can excite you, especially after they had their whole drop-off between King of Fighters 12 and King of Fighters 13. I was happy that they came back. And I'm happy that they're doing such a great job in revitalizing.
Now, Tony, were you following this game? Because it's been delayed a few times, man. It was supposed to come out this year. Now, you and Dalan,
they shattered all our expectations and delayed the game again.
Yeah. What were you looking forward to it? And you're like, damn, they delayed it again, or it's just like, it'll come out whenever it comes out.
Honestly, especially for games I care about like this, I have that approach where it's like I want it to be good, and if it means delaying it, sure, I got a billion other games I could play. It's fine.
We have plenty of
especially fighting games. They usually they live or die based on their release.
Mechanics.
Even if they fix things, fighting games specifically have a really hard time like coming back after coming out broken. So I rather them just make it.
Yeah, it's better out the door that it's clean, it's balanced, it's all of that. So which it's kind of hard to do, man. And of course, it's always a little it's always a personal perception of it, right? Like you're gonna think like that's not balanced. He's cheap as hell. So it's really tough, I think. Even as Dalan knows, I don't know if you know, but Virtua Fighter to me is one of the most balanced games out there. Even that game, there's little ways to kind of mess with it or whatever, right? So I'm sure that's the case.
With the monk.
Yeah, but you figured it out. See. You know what? Virtua Fighter, that's why it's so good. There's a counter to every single thing, and it's not a fucking dollar combo like Tekken, all right? We'll continue that streak of hating on Tekken. Dalan, what's the big story for you this past week, man? Break it down for us.
All right, so the big story for me this past week, and I know we touched base on the fact that Halo Infinite is supposed to have their confirmed release date on December 8th, but I could hold off on that because Destiny is going to be releasing their 30th anniversary event on the 7th of December, which is one day beforehand. It's going to come with a free 6-player matchmaking activity with apparently secrets and collectibles for people to be able to discover. It's going to have the anniversary pack that you could actually purchase. However, it is $24.99. I was not happy to find the price tag on this thing, but with that price tag,
it comes with the raid, right? With the raid.
The free player matchmaking thing. I don't think the raid is, okay.
It's not a raid.
I'm not going to call
it.
They
would have said raid. They would have said raid.
It's not a raid. No, it's not a raid. So the writer from Kotaku, I'm sure I'm not going to say his name right. Ari Notice. All right, he summed it up perfectly for me. So I'm just going to read the paragraph that he wrote on his page. He said the Galahorn, which is one of our favorite weapons, will be included in Destiny 2's Bungie 30th anniversary pack, which will be available this December. In addition, in a goal to the good old galley, because we like to call it the galley instead of the Galahorn, the 30th anniversary set will include armor inspired by the Thorn, which is a nice hand cannon, which was awesome for us to use and poisoned the hell out of people. I actually hated it a little bit. Another Hall of Famer weapon, a Claymore Sword from Myth, which is a game I never played, but apparently it's Bungie's real-time tactics game from the 90s, and a pirate-themed dungeon. Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
what was it called? Myth? I think it was something else. Are you sure it was Myth?
He wrote Myth. I'd never heard of the game, but I know of the book Myth, so I'm assuming that they made a video game based on the book. And that's what this is. Because I know I've seen something like that, just like they have that game, The Mist, whatever it is. I know that one's definitely based on a book. I think they ended up doing the same thing in order to try and get themselves off the ground. Now, of course...
okay, yeah. Myth, yeah. So they did make Myth, and they also did a big series called Marathon, too. That was like, wait, are they talking about Marathon? But yeah, they did Myth. Sorry, go ahead, Dalan. My bad. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. And now we already did talk about the Witch Queen expansion coming out in 2022, and that one's going to be $40. That's the reason why I was disappointed about that price tag. I was like, man, 2 months apart, and you got these two big things that you really want to get. You definitely kind of want to get the expansion if you're going to continue Destiny, but you also have this pack that has the Galahorn in it. You won't get the Galahorn unless you buy the pack.
Well, so, look, the Witch Queen, we already know what's up, man. It's an expansion.
No, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, of course, it comes with the raid. This $25 thing though, this sounds like some bullshit, to be honest. Like what is
but
this?
It's the Galahorn, and it comes with the dungeon that's apparently pirate themed, but it's a dungeon nonetheless. It at least gives us some content to go through and gives us some good armor. And hey, man, if you get the Galahorn out of it, if you could buy the Galahorn separately, I would very much prefer.
They'll have to convince me for the $25 one for the Witch Queen thing, sight unseen. I'm ready to go. Don't tell me nothing else. Just tell me there's a new raid, and I'm good to go. Tony, are you a Destiny fan? Does this news?
In there. Okay. Yeah, it's. I'll probably hop in, but I'm not following it that closely. But yeah, I'm more of a casual Destiny player. Okay. I hop in occasionally, that sort of thing.
We're trying to build a little group here, I believe. Actually, maybe we do our own. What is it called? Our own clan, Dalan. Since we're gonna be enough, right? Luis, you've been playing Destiny, man. Does this get you hyped, or is it like, what the hell? I just started. I'm gonna pay for crap now, or
yeah?
What do you think
I did just start, and I did just buy the expansion. That's $40. It's on sale on Steam, or I think it was like. Oh,
you bought the Beyond Light. You bought the Beyond Light expansion, so you could actually be up to date.
No, I bought the expansion that came with 3. It also has Beyond Light in it, though. I don't know exactly which one it is. The point is, I dropped $35 to $40 like yesterday, and I'm gonna drop 25 when that drops, and then I'm gonna drop another 40.
So I'm sure you'll talk about it.
He's all in.
I'm sure you'll talk about it a little bit more on what you've been playing, at least. But like, you're liking it. You're liking Destiny so far.
I mean, I'm going to drop $65 in the next few months.
Hey, enough said, and we'll get back to you on your thoughts and what you've been playing over here.
No, but Tony, you had a thought real quick.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, what you were talking about, where I don't even know what I paid for, and I'm going to pay more later. And like, it feels like you need like a diagram just to buy games these days. Mm-hmm. Okay, which edition, which version, early access, blah, blah. It's like so complicated.
You definitely Monopoly with people online. That one's
oh, yeah, dude. There's like 3-4 different editions of that crap, dude.
We played Monopoly though. We played Monopoly, Uno. Anyways, we're
but
the point is, you need to buy the right one to play online with people. Like then there's 4 different ones. So you have to be like, no, don't get the regular one. Get the family fun pack.
Yeah.
because this one connects with that one. It's like,
At least Destiny is pretty much compatible whichever version you get. You should be compatible with it. But so Tony, you have what's your big story the last week? I will say real quick, and I know people can't see it online, but we get a little rundown. Tony, I gotta say, man, I love these bullet points. These are perfect. It's not all like paragraphs like Dalan. These paragraphs that go on forever. So I do appreciate it. Tell me what's been like your story, man, the big story for the last few days of last week.
Yeah, so for me, I'm a Final Fantasy 14 player. I love that game. And actually, earlier this week, they announced that one of the data centers, Aether, which is one of the primary ones in North America, is being labeled as congested. Now, I know if you're not a Final Fantasy 14 player or MMO player, you're probably wondering, like, well, what does that mean? What is that? I don't understand.
It means it's full, Tony.
Yeah, it's full. It's full. So now I think like out of the 7 data centers, I think like 3 or 4 of them are essentially full. And not only is it full, but no one can create characters, no one can transfer characters. So
you can't even create a character? It's
essentially sold out digitally. Like you can't even play if you're a new character with your friends. So if you, for instance, wanted to join me, you couldn't.
Is that still going on, Tony? Like I heard about this. I think we might have even mentioned it on the show a couple weeks ago or like a month ago that you couldn't even buy the digital version. That is still to this day happening.
So that's still, not only is that still happening, but now they're restricting people who have already bought it from playing with certain people. So like, for instance, if you already bought the game, you can still play it, but you just can't play it on certain servers. And the servers are quickly getting maxed out all the time. And they're basically saying, okay, no new characters, no transfers, nothing. And it's basically at full capacity, like 99% of the time. So it's basically like this until further notice.
And this is a game you pay good cash, hard-earned cash every month for, right? It's not
$15 a month.
$15 a month.
Yeah. That makes me ask, because obviously you played it more than me. I know that they have this world visiting system. Does that mean that that's currently locked as well?
No, the world visit system still is functioning. So in the data center, you have the worlds within that, right? And so the data center is locked, but you can travel between the worlds within that data center just fine. But getting on the data center at all is...
Now you were a WoW player before. Have you played?
Yeah.
Did they deal with these things? Because you can kind of say growing pains, whatever it is. This game's been out for a while. With this. Okay, so
Final Fantasy has like this much of the budget that WoW had. So
but you would think they would take it seriously, right? With the like a rabid fan base, they're paying hard-earned cash, $15 a month or whatever it is. Now, do you think it might be because this is kind of a Japanese game? Do you think maybe it has something to do with that, with Japanese development maybe?
I think that might have a little bit to do with it, but the bigger thing is that they didn't have like a steady growth. They had a just spike boom out of nowhere in popularity. And also that plus COVID, their hands are kind of tied. The director even said that their company's willing to pay much higher than market value for the servers they need and also for the staff to be able to implement those. But COVID's making it hard to source the parts and to travel and actually physically set these things up. So they have plans and they have, purchased things, but, it's just taking longer than expected. So they have an expansion coming out in about 2.5 months. So
they're ready to go. Well, we'll see if they're ready to go then.
We'll see. Yeah. But it's definitely pretty crazy. It's a sign of how popular the game is. Obviously, people playing it 24/7.
Now it's been out for a while, right? So it was definitely one of those like all of a sudden we're playing Final Fantasy 14. What do you know, like off the top of your head, when it dropped, when it released originally?
I believe it was 2013. It actually came out on PS3.
Okay. Yeah, and that was before it was a Realm Reborn. Yeah, back when it was broken.
Let me. I don't know. Maybe I'm not remembering the timeline correctly, but 13 came out after this or something, or one of the 13s.
No, so 13. No, 13 came out before this. So I think
Okay.
13 came out 2011, I want to say. 2010, 2011.
But they had two
One of
other
those.
games after that, right? Like they had two other sequels to 13. 13
Correct.
versus I don't know.
You're
I
thinking
don't
too
know.
hard about that. You're talking about Lightning Returns.
I'm just thinking about the wackiness that
Of the
that
numbers.
14 would have come out before the 13 series would have been done with or whatever. But
Oh, Final Fantasy 14 came out September of 2010.
so 13 was still coming
that
out.
was the 1.0, yeah.
Luis, any thoughts, man? And then we'll give Dalan some final thoughts if he still has some.
Yeah, that's just kind of wild. I mean, going back to there was this link that was kind of getting shared through Twitter. I think IGN wrote it, right? There was a survey about to like 100 or so developers, what's the hardest part about making a game? And like the answer was everything, and one of them was servers, like multiplayer, like things that you just think should work, like something like this can happen out of nowhere, like, and you never know. So yeah, just it sucks, but especially since they're actively taking money from people still, even though
it's kind of like, you can't play the game that you're actively paying for or whatever. But it can't be avoidable. I think some of what happens sometimes is that maybe some of these companies have learned their lesson, I guess you could say, where they have too many servers maybe, and they rather kind of scale it up, right? Like where they're like, we'd rather deal with people can't log in forever and we got to limit them and slowly scale up. But I think it screws the gamer over, man. It definitely screws over the fans. Dalan, before we move on, man, what are your thoughts on this?
I have two thoughts on this. This thing about
let's have multiple thoughts.
Server, yeah, it's just two thoughts. Having limited server and then servers and then scaling it up, it creates a era of exclusivity. Being that so many people are playing that people don't actually follow how many people are actually in the server. See this, the servers are full, and you're like, damn, I got to get into this game. So many people are playing. I got to try this. But then on the other hand, you got the creators saying, we're going to pay well above market value for these new servers. And I'm thinking, man, these scalpers are going to come out like a thief in the night. I do not like that idea.
Yeah, I mean, does that has something to do with it? I'm assuming that they just don't have enough physical servers, to kind of get it going.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. And just to be clear, like if you're paying and you already have a character, you can still play. It's not like you can't play. It's just it depends on who you're trying to play with. So
you're gonna be in a queue.
Yeah, you're gonna be in a queue. And they actually said that the reason they're kind of locking it down, so to speak, is because they didn't want the queues to be for really long. Like right now, the queues are not that bad. It's like maybe 10
it's like
minutes
30
at
seconds.
most.
No, mine's like 30 seconds. I don't even have it that long.
Well, it depends on when you play.
We ain't talking about you, Dalan. We ain't talking about you, man.
But yeah, it's not too bad. But if they said that if they didn't cap it, that within like a month or so, people would be waiting hours in the queue, and they don't want that.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll follow it closely here on We Got Comms and Salient Points.
The lies you weave.
We'll follow it very, very closely. Thank you, Tony, for bringing that to our attention here. Luis, what's your big story of the last week, man?
Yeah, so speaking of developers having plans for future releases and updates, Blizzard plans to rename their Overwatch hero Jesse McCree. So this hero was actually named after senior level designer Jesse McCree, who was part of that whole Cosby Crew thing.
Okay. It's coming together now. All right.
So they released a public statement. This is just a section of it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It was really long, but this is basically the essence of what it was. So it says, quote, "We built the Overwatch universe around the idea that inclusivity, equity, and hope are the building blocks of a better future. As we continue to discuss how we best live up to our values and to demonstrate our commitment to creating a game world that reflects them, we believe it's necessary to change the name of the hero currently known as McCree to something that better represents what Overwatch stands for." So something can be seen as simply. Oh, sorry, I didn't say end quote, Carlos.
Hey, man, I wasn't gonna judge you on it. And go ahead. I only judge Dalan.
Okay.
You always
good. So
I fucking hate you, Carlos.
Something that could be seen as just simply changing a character's name will actually be delaying a release they had coming up in September. So this stems in, I guess McCree was supposed to be a huge part of this like new story arc. He was a core part of it, but this will kind of have rippling effects into the current state of Overwatch and then Overwatch 2. So there's things all across the game that they'll have to change. There's voice lines between characters. There's assets in the game that are named certain things. There's references to him in the code that I'm sure they'll change. They'll remove those references. So it's like it's gonna delay that.
Yeah.
And then
and
Control F.
That's what I was about to say. See, then we line up sometimes. That's what I was about to tell you, Lise. It's as easy as Control F, right? Like just Control F. All the McCree's references or whatever. You just switch it out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's all they gotta do.
Clear it up for us, Lise. It's all right, man. It's not that easy, right? It's not that easy.
No. Yeah, I guess continuing off from that, like I was saying, it could be seen as just Control F, find all, replace, change it to this, boom, you're done. But it's like, now changing this reference might break a reference to some other script that's accessing that, and it doesn't detect that anymore. Blah blah blah, whatever. So, yeah. But the sort of vague release date they gave for that new expansion was later this year. So whenever that is.
February 2021, dude. Everything's getting pushed out to then anyway. Tony, are you a fan of Overwatch, man? Is this kind of like an interesting news to you? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I used to play Overwatch a lot. I haven't played it lately, but
I bought it because of you.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Dalan, stop airing out your dirty laundry, man. What's going on over here?
All
right, go ahead, Tony. My bad, man. Yeah. Look, this is the guy I deal with.
You're good. But no, I mean, I think it makes sense. You know, they want to kind of, I think normally they wouldn't do something like this, but because they are having to show like how they want to actually make real change, they're going through this huge hassle. I'm sure that they believe in changing the code and voice lines and everything. It's probably a lot. It's not just Control F.
Yeah.
But it's good. You know, this stuff matters to a lot of people, myself included. And yeah, I'm glad they're doing it, even though I'm sure it costs them a lot of man hours. It's worth doing.
Yeah. Dalan, what do you think, man?
Man, I didn't care what his name was, and I don't even care that it had anything to do with the guy McCree in the actual studio. Look, they named the guy McCree. There are other people out in the world that have the name McCree, I'm sure, but they just decided to reference
Jesse
it to
McCree,
this one guy.
Exactly, that's his full name in the game.
I get that, but you making it sound
was
like
named after him.
Yeah, but you also make it sound like there's no other James
Dalan, the Cosby sweater room. The Cosby sweater room. Dalan, I'm trying to explain it to you.
I can't say much for Bill Cosby and his whole snafu. That's what I'm gonna call it. His whole snafu that occurred. But
he's free now.
You know.
But yeah, no, man. You know what? Real quick, I think to me, yeah, it's one of the most fascinating things that, of course, is not Control F, right? It's a whole big ordeal, but you can respect them for it, right? Like let's kind of, sort of, in a way, kind of wipe the slate. I mean, you can't completely wipe it, right? Because things are still structurally there.
They're just trying to create a small issue and at least do something right for the community and make it look like they're walking in the right direction. So yeah. I will give them applause for that.
Okay, I mean, you said that the Cosby room was fine, but that's fine.
I don't care if his name is McCree, but if you guys care that much,
yeah,
let it.
It's one of,
let it change.
You know, it is one of those things where like people say it's like, I didn't mean to offend you. It's like, but it's, you know, let's consider. But they were offended. Someone was offended. So
I think it has less to do with the fact that it's the same name as the guy and more to do with like they outright told everyone, hey, this is named after this person, and this person did really fucked up shit to people. So it doesn't even really matter what the name is. It's more just this is actually representing this person, even if other people have his same name. It's like they've like, it would be one thing if they never said that and it was just anecdotally like, oh, maybe it's named after this guy, but they themselves said, nope, this guy is named after this developer. So now they're having to go back.
Yeah, and that he's associated to him and all that, right? So it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of like you're saying, maybe they kind of sort of outed themselves. Or it's like it gives them a little bit of goodwill, right, with the community. It's just like, look, we're looking into it, not just the stuff you're actively accusing us of or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, either way, it's like it's a wide range of sort of, so we have like Tony here, who thinks it's a good move. It's likewise to me, and Dalan, who just doesn't really care, right? There's sort of a wide range, and somewhere in between there's people in there as well. But so there's people that think this isn't good enough, or like they're focusing on the wrong thing or something. If you look at like the replies on Twitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if they didn't do it, then people would complain. If
Oh
they
yeah,
did
it
do
would be worse.
then people would
Yes.
complain. So it's like
But
they
I
can't
have
win
a-
either
And
way.
there is
I have
real
a
quick,
question.
Dylan, and we'll get to you real quick, Dan. Hold
No,
on,
it's not a
but
big question. But
but it is I think it is definitely what you were saying, right? It's like to some people it is a big deal, and they should take kind of as many people into consideration as they can. Dalen, sorry, my bad, man. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. The only question I really had in my brain after talking about it in this fashion is, was McCree modeled after the actual developer, and will they end up having to change his mod? He's like, no. I see Tony shaking his head.
No,
Heck
no, it's
look
an
at
older
anything
guy
like
with a long beard. He looks nothing like him whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
But at least they won't have to change the way he looks. He looks like an old Marty McFly's uncle type thing. All right?
Yeah, you know what? But it's definitely one of those, like you were saying, Luis. It's definitely one of those nuanced things where at least they're doing something. I understand sometimes people are asking like for way more, I guess, or whatever it is. But there, there's progress. We have to have a little bit of patience too, in people understanding each other. And I know it's kind of polarized out there like that, but let's have patience with each other too, right? That it's like they're heading in a good direction.
I think the most important thing they could do are things that we would never see, and it would be behind the scenes, in their own company internally. Like that's all the stuff that really matters. This sort of thing is fine, and they should obviously do it when they can for naming characters or whatnot. But they gotta fix their internal shit.
Blizzard's got a long way to
Well,
go.
and they got their feet to the fire, man. So it's definitely like we talk about it, and people online definitely talk about it. So they definitely are feeling it. Another thing this one's a little more interesting, I suppose. But so there's a Martin Luther King Jr. event happening in Fortnite. It's called a March Through Time mode. So you can't shoot, you can't do all kinds of crazy stuff in it, right? It's kind of like sort of like a historical kind of content. But it's really funny though, because you complete it and yet you still get something for it, right? You still get what they call a DC-63 spray. So I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm kind of, to me, it's interesting. I can see though how people are saying like that's kind of weird that you put in a battle royale game, but you have seen artists in there, you have seen concerts happening. So I don't really play Fortnite, so I'm not really sure. Maybe if I played Fortnite, I'd have more of a either I'm offended or I'm for it or not. So we'll go Dalan. For not so obvious reasons, Dalan. What do you think?
Okay, thanks. Not so obvious reasons.
What do you
I'm
think,
black,
man?
It's fine.
Whoa, they can see it on the video, man. What do you think about this one?
Well, I do think that it feels like a half-ass attempt to try and make it look like the company is doing something for the minority. And at the same time, I know that there are people that are at that company that specifically do want to do it for the minority. And that by itself, when they're actually doing it out of the actual bottom of their heart, that they want to do this. But then there are the other people in like PR, they're like, oh, this will just look good. Let's do it. I'm like, all right, fine, I guess. So it's kind of upsetting that they decided to use Martin Luther King as that poster child for this particular aspect. But for the most part, I'm happy that they were doing something like this. But at the same time, it makes you step back and say, why are they doing
now? Do you think
there's something going on in the company that makes it seem like there might be some what is that word?
Some strife or controversy or something.
Controversy is a good word for it. There might be some controversy in the company that they don't want to actually say out loud. And there are people that are there and they're black and they're like, Black Lives Matter. Let's throw a Black Lives Matter thing into this game. They're like, all right, I guess we got to do it because now we got too many people, and it just turns into we're just trying to make these people content type of additional DLC, and I'm like,
so you think
like 5 minutes ago.
So you think they could have eased us into this one? Like they could have done some other. I don't think it's very controversial. It's just I think what you can say about this is that it's not. You can make the case that maybe it's in poor taste because it's sort of a battle royale, cartoony type of game. So, do you think they could have eased this into it, and where they could have done another event? I suppose where it's not. Let's just go Martin Luther King right away, or no.
The problem is going Martin Luther King right away, and on one hand, it's like great you did it, but on the other hand, it's like it's gonna fall on deaf ears because we're immediately seeing what they're trying to throw at us.
Yeah,
Didn't they just do an event though?
Huh?
Like with Ariana Grande, it just happened like a few weeks ago. So it's not like this. Just
I think Ariana Grande is still going on though.
Well, but I mean, it's not the first event that they do, right? Is that what you're saying, Luis?
No, I thought what you guys were saying was that it's just like an event that popped out of nowhere after like the Travis Scott one, which was like a year and a half ago or whatever that was, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, I think that they're kind of testing the waters. For you, Dalan, I think it's very fair for you to say maybe to you it feels like it's pandering or something. I don't. Yeah, okay, there you go. There you go. So, and you can feel that way. I think it's just a little weird, right? Tony, we'll go with you, man, and then we'll move on to the next point. What do you think about this?
Yeah, so I don't play Fortnite, so I don't know.
Stayed away from Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think anything bad of the game necessarily. But anyways, I don't see why this would be a bad thing. I think it's fine. I think honestly, if this is like the first thing they're doing and it's going to continue and they're going to keep bringing in social justice sort of things like this from time to time, I don't see why that is necessarily a bad thing. I don't play Fortnite though, so I don't know. It could be in poor taste. They could do it really well. I can't speak on that, but if it's in good taste in the game, I could see that being a benefit. And the last little thing I would add on here is, I know probably a lot of people, adults mostly, are looking at this and thinking, yeah, it's pandering, it's over the top, it's on the nose, all that stuff, but think of it for kids. I think this is actually pretty cool for kids, especially black kids.
That's true.
And I think that it could be a really big deal for some kids out there. So
I mean, just in general, yeah, sure, black kids, right? But I think in general, as far as historical kind of context, you can make the argument maybe it's important. I think it would be in very poor taste if they still let you shoot around the monuments or whatever it is. I think you could definitely, there could be nuance to it, right? It could still be in poor taste because it's in a battle royale game, but it could really be in bad taste if they're like, you can still shoot around, man. You can still shoot around in here, listen to the speech, because the speech is going on in the background too, like I Have a Dream speech. So they could have definitely pushed it to a whole nother level, I believe. Another company that's pushing it to another level is that Netflix. I don't know if we brought it up before, but there was rumors that they would get into gaming, they're testing it out in Poland with a couple mobile games, Stranger Things 1984, Stranger Things 3. There's sort of a little theme there. If you have the Android app, like I said, maybe you can VPN yourself to Poland. You could try it out. I don't know, but it works with the Android app. Luis, what do you think about this, man? Are you excited, or is this just dumb, or what do you think?
Answer that question. I think unless you were to change like your router directly to use that VPN, I think Netflix like automatically detects if you're using a VPN on the app.
It's pretty smart.
I don't think you can.
No, it does not. I can tell you that right now.
Last I heard you could trick it, but I don't. Maybe they have updated.
I use a VPN, and whenever I open up Netflix, it says there was a problem connecting to the internet, so that's why I said it.
Oh, okay.
Tony, was that the your thought on it, Luis, or what?
No,
else?
I was just answering your question.
Yeah.
I guess this is cool. I mean, we'll see, right? Everyone's trying to get into the cloud gaming space. Google pulled the trigger a little early. They do that a lot, don't they, with the Google Glass and all this other stuff. Yeah. But now Xbox is getting into it, and I guess Netflix. So we'll see. I mean, the more competition, the better. I guess it'll help the space grow.
They already kind of have already have a built-in audience too, right? A built-in subscription base too, right?
And it's not an addition; it's just included into your plan.
Well, we don't know that yet, right? Like I don't know if it takes off. Well, but this is like a test, right? That they're doing. It starts as a test, and then it goes, "Do you want these games?" But maybe if I'll believe you. Yeah, that's speculation there. Tony, what are your thoughts, man, on Netflix testing out this stuff?
I think it's fine. I think like I don't use cloud gaming or anything like this, but I think with Netflix going into gaming, a lot of people probably roll their eyes and they're like, I don't know about that. But for me personally, whenever I see stuff like this, I just want more companies investing in gaming, because what it means is cheaper games for everyone. And so if you're a fan of cheaper games, yeah, you want Netflix to get in on it. You want everyone to get in on it, because it's going to lower the price because of competition. So,
well, yeah, anything
And
subscription,
availability.
anything like subscription, right? Like Game Pass, right, does the same thing. Like I think that Game Pass is like the greatest deal in gaming. I've heard it said around the internet, but I also think that as well, right? Like the
I do
Game
too,
Pass.
yeah.
So Psychonauts just came out. 12 Minutes just came out. These are games with like big talent. You know, Hades is on there too, so it's really great. And xCloud as well, so you can play it even on your old Xbox One. You know, which they're bringing in Christmas. I don't know if we left that story in here, but we'll mention it. So yeah, I mean, it, you know, subscription based, does it make sense on their end? Do they still have to figure out how it makes sense as far as the expenses and stuff? Don't care, man. I just want cheap gaming. But I think they definitely still got to figure that shit out, though, to be honest, right? They got to figure out how to make it work fiscally and all that. They basically need like 300 subscribers, I would assume, or just a crap load. So the next thing on here, No More Heroes 3, they have an interesting review embargo, which means usually when these embargoes usually go up for, like, we get embargoes on We Got Cons when we've had these games, and we're like, okay, you can't publish a review till this time, but it's usually like either sometimes the day before or maybe the day of release. But for No More Heroes 3, they're like, the review embargo is 9 hours after it's ready for the public, and they actually said specifically August 26th, 9 p.m. So about an hour ago, before or when we started recording, that's when the embargo went up, even though you could have bought the game during the morning time. That's my thing, that it's always a red flag when they do that kind of crap. They're talking about because of spoilers, but
okay, I genuinely just have a quick question on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just don't understand this. So like, how can they enforce this? Because like, if I bought the game early and I played it for 2 hours and put up a review, I mean, I have nothing to do with them. How can they?
Well,
It's not about purchasing it early.
so the idea would be here is that when you do these reviews, right? Like, so they probably had this game the last week. Reviewers, you know, sometimes they get shorter and shorter, man. Sometimes I know we've gotten review codes and it's like 6 a.m. and the game's out at night. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this shit? I won't name anyone. They probably know, but I'm like, I want to review this, but you gave it to me like 30 minutes before it goes live. So what happens is that the reviewers probably already had it a week ago. So they kind of have to agree to an embargo, meaning they're going to have complete thoughts, right? The idea is like, even if it's 9 o'clock.
Being that the developer sent them a copy to review, right?
Yeah. So they probably already had it. So the difference would be that if you just got the game today, maybe you're that good and you're like, you formed an opinion, you did a review within a couple hours, but you didn't have the game early. Right, so you didn't agree to anything. True. You could just publish it. So that would be the difference.
Wild.
I guess. But that's shenanigans. Luis,
but 9 hours, that's a long
it's
time.
Wacky, dude. And I think 9 hours would be because they updated it to 9 p.m. I think it's even more than 9 hours, actually. That's maybe like 12 hours or 11 hours or something.
I saw the frustration on Tony's face the moment you said 9 hours.
I just can't believe that.
It's weird, so dude. It's really weird. I think they've done it once or twice before. And trust me, the internet makes sure to blow them up every single time.
Assassin's Creed was the other game. I forget which one, but they did that. And then
one of the offshoots, I believe. Yeah, I think maybe one of the offshoots. At least, what are your thoughts on this, man, before we...
Well, I guess the thing, I don't think I heard you say this, but the key point here being is that they walked that back, right? Mm-hmm. So that was the original. Yeah, that was the original thing. All of the reviewers and everybody threw up their hands and made a huge commotion. They said, "My bad. Okay, it's cool." So that's not a thing.
Okay. All right. So I gotta look. I thought it was and they updated, but maybe you're right. You might be right. No, but it's still wacky.
I read the link that you provided, Carlos.
Okay. My bad. So so, it's still wacky, the fact that they're like, we're gonna get away with this crap.
But I guess the thing that kind of throws me out, I don't read reviews. I've told you this multiple times. I just
that's sad. We write reviews.
Hey, what
I don't.
Yeah, hey, Dalan. Besides the point, you see what I'm dealing with, Tony? Go, Dalan.
I
Go
told
ahead.
Carlos this when he asked me to write reviews. I said, "Well, I don't read them, so I don't want to write them, basically either."
Hey, but don't make it like I'm over here talking about Luis write reviews. Don't make it seem like that.
No,
either.
you've asked me if I wanted to. You send us a link. You say, "Check this out." We're getting off topic.
But
anyway,
that's not telling you to do. Anyways, Luis, go ahead, man. Go ahead. What's going on?
So the thing I found with the point that people were saying about this, like, if someone is waiting. So if I'm buying the game as soon as it launches, I'm probably not reading a review, right? And if I'm waiting to buy a game until I can read a review, then what's another 9 hours? Like, if people are like freaking out.
Well, it does matter, man, because usually when you set these embargoes is really so you could get that kind of groundswell, I guess you could say, where it's like even like the Psychonauts reviews, they came out maybe Monday, I believe, Monday or Tuesday, and the game's out Wednesday. Dude, I was reading about those. I was like, oh shit, I gotta get this game. I have to preload it. It's through Game Pass, right? But I gotta preload it. So it kind of does matter because people that were excited for the game, they're gonna go ahead and buy it, right? And they're like, this is crap. I wish I could have known or something.
But the embargo was only up until when the game launched.
Yeah. Well, it was after.
That's
it was after.
Cut off that's going to cut down your pre-orders though, because the people aren't going to
look. So the reason
game to launch.
So the reason it's a red flag, honestly, and this is really the only reason it matters. It's usually a red flag when you do the embargo after when the game's going to launch, because you're telling people it's like we don't have enough confidence in this game to get good reviews before it's out. Like we want people to buy it. Right? No, I get what you're saying, but no,
that's just the way I see it.
Yeah.
That's just the way I
Which
see it.
is a fair way to say it.
If you're iffy about it, then just wait for the embargo.
Yeah,
it's 9
that's
hours.
true.
I
don't know about you guys, but I've had those, not so much because I guess I have a job and busy, blah, blah, blah. But I know when I was a little younger, more disposable income, I was kind of like, damn, this game drops at 9, and I'm like waiting for it. Like I'm like, I want it, and then I'm like, damn, there's no reviews. Fuck it, I want to grab it, and then I find out later that it's not good. But that's fair. If you are about reviews, you should just wait, right? You just wait for it. And
I guess that's just my point. If you wait to read a review to buy a game, then just wait to, like, you're not gonna buy it at midnight. So why does it even matter to you, right?
Yeah. So it's usually just a red. It's usually just a red flag. I mean, you make some fair points. You make some salient points. I think really it's sort of more of a red flag that the developer, the publisher is like, this is gonna not get so great reviews. Let's hold off as long as possible. Make sure it's available, and then we get some reviews out there. The other thing, so Microsoft did announce, or Microsoft with 343, a Halo Xbox Series X Special Edition, and as you guys can probably guess, since it's kind of hard to get even the regular ones, they're already getting flipped for $1,000. Dalan, you have a couple thoughts on this, man? Like, what do you think?
Scalpers. I hate scalpers. They're the scourge of this flippin' earth, and they need to just go somewhere just far away and stop doing what they're doing. Let us buy our systems. This is why we're in the issue. This is why we're having the issues that we have with the PlayStation 5 and the whole chip system and graphics cards. I mean, people are just buying up stock with these stupid bots and then selling them off.
You have to hold, Dalan. You have to hold to buy now. Walmart, you have to hold the click. You have to hold the click to buy. But I will say, they're not scalpers, Dalan. They're resellers. All right, like stop. You know what I'm saying?
Episode 0.
Episode 0, Dalan. Episode 0. We had a scalper / reseller. I asked him,
tomato.
Hey, what would you prefer to be called? And we care about these scalpers out here, so he said resellers, and I was like, reseller.
Neither. I'd rather just buy my game system and walk away. It's mine. Go buy your own.
You live in
exporter.
Yeah, you live in capitalism, man. What are you gonna do? You know who also lives in capitalism? Insomniac. Traveler's Tale came out with the smoke. I don't know why. Who called them up to bat? But Traveler's Tale came out talking about Insomniac is misleading people, saying that Ratchet and Clank rift apart those rifts. You know how they were saying we're using the SSD drive to get all these worlds together. That's how we're doing it so quickly. It's only possible on the PS5. Traveler's Tale, I don't know what they've done. I think they did the Croc games. I remember playing Croc. I don't know if you guys remember that dumbass game.
I do remember Croc with his backpack running around.
What was that, Traveler's Tale? I think it was. I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever it is, this third-tier developer over here talking about from left field. No, Insomniac is misleading people. That shit could have been done on PlayStation 3. And I'm like, Possibly, I don't know, man. I just like that they blowing smoke out here. Luis, what do you think, man? You're the developer on here, man. Are they? Do you think they might have a point? You played the game too, right? So
Yeah, no, I'm almost certain that they do have that they're right, but I think the
that who's
the
right?
reason,
Traveler's Tale or
yeah, whoever
Traveler's
these
Tale?
croc guys are, I don't know.
Whoever the croc guys are, huh?
Yeah, but I think the problem is Sony is using some very creative wording here, which meaning only possible on PlayStation, meaning it's not possible on Xbox because the game isn't on Xbox, right?
Okay.
So I think that's more what it is versus like we couldn't do this ever before, which they actually do
I
think
feel like
Sonic
that's
did
kind of
at
the
one
sense.
point.
That's the sense I was getting because I remember they were selling us on like the SSD, like the power of the SSD. You know, Mark Cerny, quiet voice, kind of like, yeah, we're using the
Yeah,
power
I
of the
don't know
SSD.
if I would go
Hey.
as far back as saying it's possible on the PlayStation 3. I'm not
They're definitely
100%
blowing
certain
smoke
about
out
that.
here, dude.
Like with that level of detail, quality, and all that on that
Well,
console, I'm pretty sure it would have run out of
But I
memory.
think they were talking
But
about the Rift itself, right? The fact that you're going through these worlds, I guess.
oh
Right?
no, yeah, you could do that on an iPhone. Like it's not, it's that part isn't difficult. The
Yeah.
difficult part is how you convey that to the player. So traditionally, it would have been you go through this rift, enter. So you unload the scene you were just in. All that environment's gone, right? Now you're in this sort of like traveling through the world scene that's going around you while it loads the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Once that's loaded, it moves you to the next scene. So that's how it would have been done previously.
Yeah.
But that seamless, like instantaneous from one to the next, that's a PlayStation 5 thing with the SSD. I don't think you could have done that on the PS3.
Yeah, that's smooth. You could have found maybe ways around to we're still going through rifts in time or whatever, right? But not necessarily that smooth. Dalen, sorry to cut you off. Sorry for you cutting off Luis, but go ahead, Dalen.
My bad.
Go ahead.
I'm
go ahead.
sorry. I ended up looking it up. Traveler's Tales. They're the ones that made all the Lego games.
Oh, damn. And I like the Lego
Yeah.
games. They still out of left field. What the hell are they doing? Their game is barely coming out. Like, they delayed Skywalker Saga for the longest time. Anyways, Dalen, was that the thing, the Traveler's Tale? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, Luis actually touched on the point specifically for me is that, yeah, they could have actually made these transitions, but not as smooth. You definitely would have had loading times, or you would have had things that would have masked how you got from one place to the next. It's kind of like being on the subway train with Spider-Man when you're going from one part of New York to the other. Yeah, it's a smooth transition from going into the subway, being on the subway train, and being in the next area, but that's a lot of extra time that you took when you could have just like bamfed there. In this particular case for the PS5 and using a rift apart, those rifts, I actually tested it at one point. I ran into a pocket zone. That shit let it immediately turn right back around. I was still able to see the other environment. I walked my ass back out, and there was no load times whatsoever.
It's pretty nice.
I have some rocket boots that let me boost my way into those zones too. I can boost in and out at high speeds, and no, they're just seamless as hell.
Now, I will say,
that on other systems.
I will say it is pretty nice in Spider-Man that you can just kind of quickly move from zone to zone. But, you know, I kind of like those little scenes. The little subway scenes were kind of nice too. You know, it's like I'm traveling. I'm not swinging now. I'm traveling.
Don't give me a blank screen with a little icon in the corner spinning for 20 minutes. I don't want to see it.
Tony, what are your thoughts, man? Before we move on here.
I mean, I agree with Traveler's Tales calling BS on Insomniac.
Oh damn!
Only to the point that it's a semantical argument. So I interpreted when they first advertised this as only possible on the PS5 as high, you know, like asterisk on this scale with this many assets, with this less or this small amount of loading time, blah 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 blah. So I also call BS on them for pointing this out because they just want attention. It seems like, I don't know. It's so weird.
It's so weird, right? Like hit up another developer like randomly. It's like
it's not even a thing that they can like prove or disprove. It's just like an opinion piece. And I feel like most people, when they heard this like, oh, Rift system and PS5, I mean, that mechanic is not new. That mechanic's been done even on the, you know, Super Nintendo or whatever. Just the scale has
on the
changed
Super
dramatically.
with Mode
right?
7,
Right.
huh? We got Mode 7 around here.
Mode 7, right.
Yeah.
I mean, just changing from one, you know, environment to another, it's just being done quicker, bigger, you know, better, like in every way. So
Yeah.
to say that it's only possible on PS5, I mean, when I heard that, I interpreted it as, oh, on this scale with this many assets in the game, like this. So I just think why even bring this up? It's so dumb. So they must want attention or something.
Yeah, one of the things.
Traveler's Tales doesn't look for bamboo and the fibers. All right.
Hey, one of the things. It's obviously marketing, right? We should be able to see through the marketing. But I will say this before we move on, Tony. This is not just for you. This is also for Luis and maybe a little bit of Dalan. I can't believe how much fucking water you guys are holding for these guys. When I saw that shit, they were saying the SSD is making this shit happen. All right, that's what I remember. I don't remember giving them no benefit of the doubt. I remember Mark Cerny up there talking about, look at the architecture of the PS5. It's so great. Look at the riffs, or whoever it was.
He's not wrong though.
But I like it though. You guys do make some fair
points.
There's
like 3 asterisks on that because of the SSD, not that specific SSD. Only on this console at this scale, and only on this console because it's an exclusive. Like there's like all these little sort of.
It's like I said, it's marketing though. It's marketing, right? It obviously is marketing, but I feel like both things can be correct. Traveler's Tale can be like, it is kind of BS that they're saying just because of the SSD, but it's also like, get the fuck out of here, Traveler's Tale. Go finish your game. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing around here, man? You guys have been working on Skywalker Saga for like 7 years now.
They're just sick of working on Legos, and they see that PS5 game. They're like, let's just fuck with these guys.
You know what? I feel like having a little bit of fun here. You know, our first game was Croc. Now all we do is Lego games. Whatever. Real quick, this one's Tony seems to be the only one interested in this next point. But Xbox Series S and X and the OG or the original Xbox One. These nomenclatures, man. These it was like Xbox One, S, X, whatever. But they're finally getting cloud gaming this Christmas, which means that the xCloud kind of app will be available to try on these systems. Like, to me, I was like, well, why? I would rather always play locally. But then I was thinking, it's like some of these games are like 200, 300 gigs. Red Dead Redemption, GTA 5, Call of Duty. It would be a little nice if there was a cloud-based client to be like, let me try it out if I even like it. Yes, the phone, right, specifically. If you guys aren't seeing the video, Tony brought up his phone. You can play it on your phone. So to me, I think that would be sort of a nice test case where it's like, you know what, I'm not trying to download 200 gigs right now. Let me just load into it, xCloud version, and I'll try it out. Then I'll download it maybe, right, to get it a little more local, a little bit faster. But what do you think, Tony?
Yeah, I just I don't use cloud gaming and I don't have plans to, but I mean, like I said earlier, I think it's just good for people who like playing games because it's going to make stuff cheaper. But for this specifically, I think, just because you can play games on your phone, it actually helps a lot with game preservation in a digital sense, not a physical sense, obviously, but you could play old school Xbox games on your phone, but you could also play Xbox Series X games potentially on your phone using their power, and it's just displayed to you. And I mean, it's not something that I think people are excited about right now, but if you think about it from a preservation standpoint, 20, 30, 50 years, I mean, this sort of thing is kind of important to keeping games alive and going. So
and it's a preservation thing. Also, I think it's one of those things where they're setting it's like they're setting up for the future too, right? Because obviously I don't know if you've tried it, but I have tried xCloud. I was actually trying to play through Dragon Quest 9 or something, whichever one they have on Game Pass, but it was just it wasn't playable, man. It just lagged a little too much for me. So, but I think it's definitely one of those things where they're laying down the groundwork, right, to like preservation. This is a very good point, salient point even. But I think it's also for the future. I think for the future, when we have better internet, when we finally maybe catch up to South Korea, we got this crappy internet in the U.S., but that's fine. Let's just accept it. Let's pay $300 for internet, but it's fine. Dalan, I know it's not $300, but you get the point. I'm exaggerating here.
I wasn't even gonna bring it up.
But you were thinking about it. But you were thinking about it. I saw the head shake.
I wasn't at all. I wasn't thinking about it at all.
All right, so that's what's going on. Yeah, but xCloud, I guess it's kind of cool. Now you'll be able to have it on the actual system, but like I said, I mean, I would always rather play locally. I would always rather just have it the local client, right? But we'll see what happens. I guess it's a thing. It's a thing. Last one here. Another thing that is a thing is probably like the 500th release of Skyrim. And I do like that Todd Howard came out, which is a Bethesda boss. He said, "We released this because millions of people every month still play Skyrim." Like, get the fuck out of here, man. They're straight out of the GTA 5 playbook. Stop logging on. That's my public service announcement. Stop logging into GTA 5. Don't wag your finger, Lise. Don't do that. We need GTA 6. Stop logging into GTA 5. Wow. I got to install it, so I'll be logging in too. We'll go. Dalan, we haven't heard from you, man. What do you think on this 500th release of Skyrim?
Man, I kind of feel the same way you do in regards to the fact that they've released this game way too many times. Bethesda definitely needs to actually make their new games. They need to actually move forward with some of these new games. Instead, they're re-aging and re-releasing and rebuilding the same game that made them quite possibly the most money that they've ever made in their lives. But it's like Final Fantasy is re-releasing Final Fantasy X. I don't know how many times, but they still made Final Fantasy 15, and they're going to make Final Fantasy 16. They can still work on other games, but nah, they're so stuck on fixing Fallout 76 and re-releasing a game that they know will make them money that they're not working on the games that they announced that they were going to be
dude
making.
That's such a good point, dude. I mean, like, Final Fantasy, sure, we're still getting the Final Fantasy 1 pixel remaster, pissing people off with the font, but at least they're still making new games. I mean, they're still fucking up 14, apparently. They can't have enough servers on there. But at least they're giving us new games occasionally.
Exactly.
Tony, what do you think about this, man?
I feel like I'm going to have the unpopular opinion here.
Ooh, okay.
It doesn't matter. We
Get it.
don't mind that. If you have a salient point,
go
let's
ahead.
hear it.
I love Skyrim. I play it once or twice a year. I'm for
Don't
sure
say it.
buying this.
Damn it,
I'm
said
for
it.
sure buying this. And I know it's just a repackaged thing, and it doesn't matter because it's going to be great. I also don't think that this necessarily eats up a lot of their developer time. I'm sure they have some developers on this, but this is actually just an asset flip from the Creation Club people that they basically have making like content for them, and then they basically are packaging it together and spinning it out to us. And I think there's a quote that Todd Howard said, beyond just this millions of people logging in every month. I think a while ago he said, if you keep buying it, we'll keep selling it, or something like that. And he's not wrong. I mean, people keep buying it. And I mean, I wish I didn't like Skyrim so much. I don't want to buy it
But I don't want to do it again. It's like an addict. But it's like, I don't want to keep using this, but I must.
All right. But Tony, the question I would have then is, aside from Skyrim, what game do they have coming out that you're looking forward to?
So what's that?
Elder Scrolls 6.
Are
they actually working on that, or did they just announce it and never?
Well, no,
they're
like
Metro.
We've talked about it. Damn, I forgot the name because it's a little generic. Skyfall or something like that, or Fall something. That's coming out next year. They even said 11/22 or something like that.
Are you talking about that
Starfield, exactly.
Starfield.
So that's
I forgot they were making Starfield. Man, that's how far Bethesda is away from their own IPs. Is that you got
Doom Eternal.
Well, as a publisher, yeah, they did the.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't remember them making that. That's what
Elder Scrolls Online as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a lot of games.
That's an ongoing service, yeah.
Yeah, they just don't have 20 They just don't have 20 million Final Fantasies, Dalan. That's cool. Well, look, Tony, we like that. That's where you stand. You can keep enjoying your Fusa Ram or whatever it is, the dragons, however they speak. You can keep having that. Luis, be the voice of reason here, man. It's definitely taking resources, right? Like for them to be crapping these out, or maybe not so much.
Honestly, I don't think it really is. If they do, depending on what platform, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Switch was probably a heavy rework just to get that thing running on there at a decent frame rate.
Was it button mash or something like that? Reworking it?
Oh, I don't know.
It's Control F, Dalan.
Oh, whatever.
Control F replace.
Yeah, I don't know how their engine works, so I'm just going based off of my experience with engines, Unreal and Unity. But if you do things correctly, in theory, it should just be an asset re-import for a lot of these things. I mean, there are going to be some things where you do have to like, oh, we're dropping frames in this section for some reason. What's going on? Oh, there's a memory leak. This texture is too high res or something.
They still got to QA it, right, and kind of go
Yeah.
through
Well,
the
that's Bethesda.
process.
They don't have a QA department. We
Oh,
all know
that's yeah. Man, they're just like
just
they're
release
like
it.
shipping,
Damn.
shipping.
Hey,
It's ready.
People like me will buy it
Tony's
anyway.
Oh, Tony's
I'm
like, I'm
like-
gonna buy this game, but they don't have a QA department. Fuck them.
Dude, I honestly, I can't say I would do different if I were in their shoes.
Oh,
If
hell
I
no,
see
dude.
that this thing is still selling, I would keep churning it out too. Like, it's all about that dollar bills, man. Like that's all it comes down to.
And that's why we still have GTA 5. All right.
So
Yeah.
before we move on, Lisa, what any other thoughts on it, or as far as the
No,
port?
man. I totally agree with what they're doing. They keep selling it because people are buying it. So
Millions
just
of
keep
people
remaking.
are millions of
All right.
people every month. They still play Skyrim.
That's a split down the middle, 2-2. All right.
Suckers
man.
like me keep buying Skyrim.
So we'll move on here to what you've been playing. Luis, I see you and Dalan played a little bit of Destiny, but what are your thoughts on Ghost of Tsushima, Rat Tail? What about those first before?
Or Rat Tail, Plague
Oh,
Tail.
Rat
in a
Tail,
sense.
Rat Tail, Plague Tail.
Yeah. So that took a backseat hard. Like Plague Tale, I'm liking it, but I think that when we recorded last week, I bought Ghost of Tsushima like that night or the day after or something. Going back to the PS5 load times, oh my god, dude! I can select the game, load into the map, load into the main menu, and load into the map in like 20 seconds. Like that's
And that
just
game,
amazing.
you're talking about Plague Tale or Ghost of Tsushima?
Ghost of Tsushima
Because
on the PS5.
Ghost of Tsushima already had quick load times, man. Even though PS4
Yeah, I
it was
remember.
pretty quick, so they just
Are you
made
talking
it
about the
snappy.
director's cut that you got?
Yeah, I got the $70 version, whatever
Oh,
that
with
was.
the
okay.
expansion? With the
I was
But,
curious about that.
So what are
Yeah,
your
it's
thoughts?
beautiful.
This
It's
is your
great.
this is your first
I'm
time playing
loving
it, right? Yeah. Okay. Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
never played it on the PS4, but just the load, like, yeah, that's the epitome of what fast travel is. Like, that just happens immediately, you know? So, but yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving having to switch between different stances while you're in combat and having to, like, sort of gauge your sort of danger based off who's around you and what abilities you have and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, the combat's really satisfying.
Yeah. It's
And
like
it's not like
it's
For Honor. It's actually like you see an enemy and there's a specific way you should actually be working to kill that enemy. Versus For Honor, where you just got to be like in a specific position, which is very frustrating for me.
well, but it's like smooth, and it's in a way I would call it like forgiving. In a way, you don't have to be as exact. I think what happens in For Honor, you do have to be a little more exact with your movements.
Oh, I
whereas
don't know about that.
with
Dude, I'm
Ghost-
playing it on hard. That
Oh.
there's no like.
Okay,
room for
okay,
error on
okay.
that.
No,
Yeah.
but on normal, it's a little like more forgiving. Now, did you get the sense, like how I mentioned, it is like from the Sucker Punch? Do you get a sense of that Sly Coopery? What's the second
I can't
son?
say that if I didn't know it was Sucker Punch that I would be able to say that they developed it.
Okay.
I guess it does have like some stealth mechanics in it. I don't use it at all, really.
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh
in there
no,
just
dude! I was,
slashing people
yeah,
up.
guns blazing. You don't even have a gun, and I was guns blazing when I played that
Yeah.
game.
So yeah, I can't say that I would have been able to say it was Sucker Punch if I didn't know that it was them.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a fun game. I guess I could see your reference to like Sly Cooper a little bit.
Oh,
but
dude,
not-
jump, dude! Just
yeah.
jump once, like you feel it right away. Like just jump, like just jump onto a thing, dude. You'll feel it immediately. The physics,
Yeah.
like straight derived from there. So you're gonna see it through. You're gonna play. Have you dipped into the expansion, or you're just main game for now?
I'm doing like everything aside from the main quest right now.
Oh,
So just
what-
anything that pops up. Yeah.
Okay,
That's-
Yeah,
that's
I
all
don't.
about it.
I think Iki is the Iki Island is a thing that you could do at the end of the game. I think that's after game content.
No, it's actually after the first chapter.
Oh,
it's
so
right
it
after the
opens
first
up. It opens
It's
up.
after
Yeah,
the
now I
first
gotta go
island.
back
You
to
can
the-
go to Iki Island.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I
snaps.
haven't gone past the first chapter at all yet.
I'm
there
not.
you go.
I'm not too sure. I mean, some of the reviews that have come out for Iki Island, it's that it's fine. I would
Sounds
say.
like Tony knows.
I would say at least try to play through, like, I don't know if you can though, you know, like you're saying, Tony, if you unlock it after the first chapter, maybe Luis doesn't even know that's like, oh, this is just part of it. But I would say focus on the main. I know you're doing everything but the critical path, which is fine, right? But I think the critical path, the original story, has a nice little story arc to it, a nice little flow
Oh yeah,
to
I'm playing it. I'm definitely,
Okay.
but like I'm just, if I have any like 2 or 3 side quests to do. I'm like, oh, I could just knock these out real quick, and then I'll move over to this one or whatever.
It's pretty nice, man. It's pretty nice. It's smooth. It loads quickly and all that. Sorry, Tony. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna give one suggestion. Try Kurosawa mode just for 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, you're talking about that black and white mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just try it for 10 minutes. No HUD, nothing, and it makes it really feel like a samurai movie. Just try it for 10 minutes.
Menu
It's really
in general
fun.
looked cool like that, but I'm like, first experience, I'm gonna give it a second. I'm gonna do the original, but now I'm I don't know, 8-10 hours into the game, so I'll switch it on.
Now, Luis, real before, or we'll let Dalan get his question in. But are you playing English and Japanese, or how are you playing it as far as the voice is concerned?
Yeah, English with subtitles.
Okay. I did Japanese through the whole story, and I was like, at some point I was like, damn, that's a lot of reading. But I did. But
dubbing was so off.
But I did play through it like that, and then when I kind of tried to clean it up and get some trophies, I was like, let me get this English going on here. I even switched it to Spanish at some point. I was like, this is nice. Dalan, what was your thing, man? Before we move to the next game.
Actually, I was gonna say about a Rat Tail. I hope you were playing that without the HUD, because that was the immersive mode is the way to go in that game. Because if I had that HUD, it honestly would have ruined the experience for me.
I don't remember seeing a HUD, so I don't think so.
All right, if you're playing on immersive mode, that's the way to play it.
And of course, that's a Plague Tale, but Luis puts it in the rundown as Rat Tail, but that's of course a Plague Tale, which honestly I'm gonna have to dip into that when I get a little bit, when I clear up. I'm playing Psychonauts, I'm playing these other games, so I'll join the conversation on that one. But Dalan, we'll start with you, man. Destiny 2, you're back in, man. You're back in, and we'll get Luis's thoughts as well.
No matter how far away you get from Destiny, it always draws you back in.
Brings you
All
back.
right, that's what it is. Even though there's no new raid, it's just an update for the new season. But that big update that we've been waiting on, that crossplay, it is a huge aspect of wanting to play the game, because you get to play with your friends. They need to fix their crossplay, because you can do it, but it doesn't save your It doesn't save your friends list. We had to invite each other to our friends list like 6 times before we figured out that it wasn't saving our names in the same session. Before we found out it wasn't saving our names. So every time you want to play with somebody, you have to invite them. You can't just join them because they're on your friends list and they're playing on another system. You have to have them. Like, if you don't have them on your PlayStation account, and they haven't cross-played at any point and synced their accounts, you're going to end up having issues playing with that person.
Good luck. Go to the website.
Go to the website.
Yeah, that's
the only other way.
I got to jump on and see how this is, but it doesn't do like a code system or anything like that, like Outright or something like that. It does do a code system?
Not the venue code. It's like the code after your username, so it's 4 digits after that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it's like Knockout when you had to look for the hashtag name.
So Dalan was dragged back in. Luis, what are your thoughts on Destiny, man? If you finally get to...
I mean, I had played it before, not to the extent that you guys ever did. I played maybe 3 hours or something of Destiny.
But you never hit a raid.
Solid 3 hours.
You never hit a raid.
I've never done a raid. Okay. I still haven't.
Oh,
we need to get together. Tony, you got to play with us so we can get this going. We need a whole squad.
Yesterday was kind of funny, actually, last night. So I was out there and I typed in the Discord, like, how many of these guys do I have to kill?
He was mad about the Barons.
So I'm on I think it was Forsaken, right? Is that the one I was doing?
That's
you had to kill the 6 guys before you got to the dude taking out the crystal out of the rock for some reason. And I felt like I had killed like 8 of them. And I'm like, why am I still killing these guys? There's no end in sight. So Dalan was like, what are you doing? Let me hop on real quick. And then had to do a bunch of other tasks random here and there. And he was basically just like, I was like his dog out on a walk. Like, he was just letting me roam in front. And he's like, if you ever need help, you want me to kill this guy? All right.
I got you. I got it. One shot.
No, that one requires context. He had to kill a number of Taken in order to actually get it. Like, he had to get his rock charged up. But it had to be him killing them. So I took him to the Lake of Shadows where it's nothing but Taken. And we were there by ourselves. And I stood back and I was like, yeah, go kill him. I'll let you go do it. Now, he did it in 2 runs, all right? Instead of taking like 3 hours, he did it in 2 runs.
Now you're realizing, like we like to say out here in Spanish, your chingas in Destiny. But so how are you feeling about that? Do you feel like it's maybe a little too grindy, or you're still enjoying it, even though you're like, how many I gotta beat beat? How many do I gotta kill?
No, I mean they were easy enough. Each one took me like what 5 minutes, but I was just like, why do I still have these? I thought I was done. That was it. It didn't take me that
Actually,
long.
Luis's frustration, even though he's not saying it, his frustration is he'll get a task and it'd be like, this shit's not clear. What does it want me to do? Where am I going?
Yeah, dude, that's
That sucks,
part of
man.
it.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and I don't know if they've necessarily gotten better
Nope.
with it, but
no, that shit's cryptic as
but
fuck.
look, honestly, just like with any game, dude, if you play co-op, it's just more fun with the homies. And we need to get you through a raid. They did bring back Vault of Glass, right, Dalan? So we need to do that one.
No, the Vault of Glass is not out yet.
Really?
That's what the witch thing, right?
What the hell's Benji
Yeah,
doing?
it's coming out with the season of the Witch or whatever
I thought
it
they
is.
had, man. I gotta look into it. I thought they had brought it back. Well, anyways,
No,
but
they announced they're bringing it back. It's not
whichever
out yet.
raid, look, there's nothing like your first raid, Luis. All right, so we'll try to make it special for you. All right, Tony, what have you been playing, man, this past week?
I've been playing Final Fantasy 14. Surprise, surprise! I've been playing that for the last like 2 months.
Did you
Fun
just get
game.
into it in the last 2 months, or you've been playing it for? I don't know if you said it earlier, but
no. So yeah, I started playing it a year ago, but basically when I first played it, I kind of played it like a single player game because even though it's an MMO, there's like a kind of single player type of aspect to it, like just a regular RPG. So I played like the single player aspect of it, and then I kind of dropped off of it for I don't know 8 months or something like that for a long time. And then I just started playing it again because some of my friends were playing, and yeah, I've been having a good time learning.
You realize how
do
beautiful the
raids.
game is.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of the raids. I've been playing more classes. I've been playing ninja and monk and other things like that. But yeah, it's fine. It's fun. We're getting more people, so we're doing more content that requires more people, and yeah, it's
Dalan,
fun.
have you done the raids in here? How do they compare to Destiny's raids?
I have done the dungeons that they make you do. They force you to do specific dungeons at times where you have to have 4 people. Yeah, they force you. It's a part of the story, but it's they do the matchmaking thing, so it works out. And you might be waiting like half an hour for a matchmaking session or something like that. They've increased the number of people they've increased the people that will go into these dungeons with you, and it's made it significantly easier because before it was just 4 people. Now it's like 8 can go into a dungeon with you. But I seen those raids where it's like there was a Final Fantasy 1 content. I know me and Tony briefly talked about it. You got to go kill like a Brath or something like that. But you go in there with 2 teams of 8 and you're like working
3 teams of 8.
Whatever.
24 men.
You're going in there, you're going hard trying to figure out the mechanics. You got to save your people in the center while the 2 on the outside are like trying to keep the doors unlocked or some shit. It's crazy watching all this fire and magic fly around the room. I'm not even sure if I can do those types of raids. After doing Destiny raids, the Destiny raids seem tame to regular RPG raids. So
Tony, have you done raids in Destiny? Have you played it enough to do raids in it?
I think I have done a couple. I know I did. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time, but I remember there was like a Halloween one, I think, that I did a long time ago.
Okay,
but maybe that wasn't a raid.
Maybe it was like a strike. Yeah, maybe it was like a strike or something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, no, so I can't really speak on the Destiny 2 raids.
We're going to have to do a raid.
Oh, dude, everyone needs to get in on this because we're ready. It sucks us back in. That thing's installed for me. You also did play another game, Tony. You played Diablo 2, the beta of Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Yeah, man.
What are your thoughts?
So I love Diablo 2. I played it when it came out way back 20 years ago, and the Resurrected, I've been loving it. I had a couple issues here and there, a little bit rubber banding, a little bit of lag in general, a couple crashes, but over the course of, I would say, maybe like 15, 20 hours in 2 days.
20 hours in 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's COVID-19. He's got time.
Okay.
I didn't have any issues.
It's only 48 hours in those 2 days.
I'm pretty happy with it, and yeah, I'm excited. It's coming out next month, so I'm playing that right
now.
away.
You were already convinced, right, for next month's release. You were gonna buy it regardless.
1,000%, yes.
But so what does this do, or is it really just like a sneak peek to you? It's like, yes, I can look forward to this next month.
Yeah, this was more me just making sure that the game functions, and also, it's an opportunity to play it early. That's kind of I didn't look at it like as a way of like, oh, am I going to buy this or not? Like I was going to buy
You were
it.
already convinced.
Yeah, I was already convinced. I mean, I've already played it. The good thing about this version of, this kind of remake, or I guess remaster you would call it, is that they didn't actually touch anything having to do with the game itself, right? They didn't add any new enemies, no new mechanics, nothing. All they're changing is cosmetically how the game looks, and then a few quality of life things. But as far as the actual gameplay goes, it's unchanged.
Okay.
So they gave you a new couch.
and you're good with that, I guess. You didn't.
I'm totally good with that.
Okay.
It's a game that holds up extremely well. And you can run it with 8 players, so it's fun.
Oh, nice.
And
I thought it was only 4 players, 8 players.
But is that the change now that you can do 8?
No,
and
you could have always done it. Yeah,
Okay.
you could do it right now.
Damn.
But
we just didn't have enough friends back then.
But
I guess.
the networking and the lobbying system is obviously much, much better now because Diablo 2 was the first game on Battle.net, and you would have to join this weird lobby, and you'd have to chat, and you'd have to get someone's IP address. It was really crazy back in the day.
Yeah.
But now it's obviously much more modern and easy, and just click.
For the people that are watching on video, this is pre-YouTube. This is how far back.
Yeah.
This is Stone Age shit.
dial-up.
We're talking
20
Stone
years
Age.
ago, man.
We're talking Stone Age stuff here. All
We're
right,
talking
man.
about
I'm glad.
DSL, if anybody knows what that is. Anymore.
Yeah, so I'm glad you're having fun, man, and I'm glad that it's something that you're looking forward to next month, especially with all these delayed games. We did get.
What about
we
you,
have played it.
Carlos?
I played a lot of Psychonauts the last week. I finished Psychonauts, but I will say the caveat is at some point the original 2005 Psychonauts got so annoying. Towards the end, I got to a ramp stage. I mentioned it last week. I believe I mentioned it last week that it's Jet Grind Radio, man. They really influenced everything. Let's just have grinding rails everywhere. Even Sonic 2, I think, was yes, we're gonna grind down San Francisco real quick. Psychonauts 2, I got towards the end, man, I must say, and I was I want to play Psychonauts 2 when it drops. I YouTubed the last couple levels, dude. I was I'm not dealing with this shit no longer. The checkpoints are nasty. At some point I kept dying and I had to replay the same section 10 times after I mastered. I'm why can't I just skip it? If you guys know what it is, it's kind of like a circus level and you got to get up to get to the grinds that keep murdering me. And I did it 5 or 6 times. You know what? Whatever. Let me YouTube it. It's such a weird game, so I was looking forward to 2. I completely forgot that there was a VR version of it that they did sort of in between. It was called Psychonauts Rhombus of Ruin. And it was kind of cool, man. It's kind of cool seeing it because this came out in 2017. We're talking the original was 2005 Psychonauts, so kind of crappy graphics if you look at it. It's terrible, dude. The fact that Xbox Series X is kind of, well, maybe even on the S and the Xbox One is kind of pushing it to be a little cleaner. But it still looks bad. But the Rhombus of Ruin is pretty great because you actually see these characters how they would be in modern times, right? A little cleaner, nice graphics. I will say, if you guys are thinking of going to play that, it's an hour and a half, man. You beat it in an hour and a half, and it's literally not a lot of action. You're just kind of sipping around. You're doing the teleportation thing, but it is pretty cool. It does have some nice little scenes in it. There's a bathtub scene that's crazy because it's humongous Lobato, I believe. So I played that. Psychonauts 2, I'll probably have more thoughts on it because we're kind of getting long in the tooth here, but Psychonauts 2 is pretty damn great right off the bat. Feels smoother. The graphics are great. I will say I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I have a dental phobia. The first couple stages in that game.
Problems. This is a mental ass game too.
It'll
get in your head.
Right away, right from the start, there's gums, there's teeth, there's braces all over the place. I'm oh, damn, they were not messing around.
Just for you.
I think I might be past that section. So I don't think it's a full game, right? That's like that. But it looks great. It plays great. I hope it doesn't become a collectathon. I'm getting a sense that it might be a little collectathon-y like the 2005 game was, where you have to kind of pick up all this other crap. But it
pick
doesn't...
up all the coins, collect all the keys,
I
put all
blame
the puzzle pieces together.
Dude, I blame Banjo-Kazooie though, for reals, man. I mean, I'm sure it was even before Donkey Kong, Banjo-Kazooie. All those games were collect all the crap. I'm No.
Mario
let's not do that.
64, you still had to collect all the coins and then get all the stars before you could even get to the next like section of the castle.
Dude. But yeah, Psychonauts 2 is really fun, man. If you guys got Game Pass, make sure to try that out. It plays smooth. It's funny as hell. Like it's pretty great. The comedy is nice. The other thing I played really quick, I haven't played through too much of it, but 12 minutes, I had mentioned it earlier. It's very point and clicky. I mentioned last week that it was who's the main actor? I forget his name. I mentioned him last week.
I don't know.
James McAvoy.
Yeah, James McAvoy. But also, it turns out Ray is in this. Daisy Ridley and Willem Dafoe are voices in this too. So that's kind of cool. I'm gonna play through that for sure. But yeah, that's all I've been playing.
I'm thinking I'm gonna try the 12 minutes too. Do you recommend that I even try 12 minutes?
Yeah, man, you should. Do you like point and click games though? It's kind of point and click.
Hey, we'll find out. I mean, I played Zero Time Dilemma, which is 1 hour for one stage just to figure out how to escape from a room. I think I could live with 12 minutes.
All right, I believe you. Yeah, try it out.
Game's not 12 minutes long. Don't get that.
I know. I know that.
But it's not too long either. So I think you should have a fun time with it. You should be able to play through it real quick. You know who else is having fun out here though? And singer for the week here, Mountain Dew or PepsiCo, I guess, has announced that they're doing a Mountain Dew flaming hot. What do they call it? Flaming hot Mountain Dew flavor exclusively through their Mountain Dew online store. This is so stupid, dude. I want to try one. I'm a fucking.
I want to try it.
It sounds like it's gonna be nasty, and I'm just gonna chuck it at a wall and be like, "That's where it belongs, against the wall."
It sounds horrible, but I want to try it.
What do you think? What flavor are we talking here, Tony? Are we talking like cinnamon? They're gonna throw some in there, or what? Or what kind of spiciness are they throwing in here?
Liquid hot Cheetos mixed with Big Red. That's what it is.
What we need now is some Cinnamon Toast Crunch Mountain Dew.
Man, so nasty, dude. I mean, they basically put Mountain Dew, and it's like, if you guys seen the Flaming Hot Cheetos bag, that's what they put on the can. Luis, you're hyped about it too, man? You gotta try it out?
Check it out.
He's not checking it out. Let's do it real quick.
And apparently, you have to go to their online store though, so I don't think you'll be able to kind of quickly go pick it up at your local store. There you go.
Man,
good thing I have access.
They better not put that on shelves.
Very, very curious on this in a cocktail, maybe with some Fireball.
Okay, a little double. You doubling down?
Mountain Dew flaming hot rum. How about that?
There you go. Well, that's been the show for this week. We went a little long, but you know what? We had a good guest on. Tony was on, a longtime friend of Dalan's, and I believe friend of the show. If I can have that, can I say that? Thank you for joining us, sir. Dalan, as per usual, up in the mountain. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Your internet held up again this
Wait,
week.
hold on.
We can move on though.
Why am I always getting?
But we can move on though. We can, unless look, I feel like I'm doing you a favor moving on before you kind of. I'll give you a shovel and see how far down you want to go.
How about this? This is what I'm gonna do, just real quick. After all this time, I was having issues with the spacing in my room. I know you guys like to talk about how I'm in a basement, but I got myself my new desk. I know for those who's got a video, that you can see my new desk. You can see my bowl, but disregard the bowl. But I got this nice raising desk, so here you go.
I talked to you about this, David. I talked to you about this, man. You got monitors on top of that thing.
What's up?
Watch it. Okay. All right, you guys. So for the audio, you guys can't see it. Go hit the YouTube. But Dalan got a little automatic raising desk, kind of like me and Luis have the same desk too, man. Who do we need sponsorships from? From what do these guys call? Visible. And what's the other one I was also promoting for a little while? GameFly. We need a sponsorship from GameFly as well. All right. So Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel. Thank you for joining us, sir. He's the one that puts on this podcast together. And I'm also Carlos Macias, the host of this here fine program. Thank you guys for joining me this week. I will say before we go, I remember Dalan was putting that desk together this past week, and I told Dalan, watch out when you raise them, man. You're going to hit those cabinets you have up there. And he's like, no, I'll be fine. And then he's like, oh, I'm putting monitors on it. I'm like, yeah, no freaking duh. All right, watch out with your monitors out there, people. Dan's over here knocking them out for getting he has monitors on there. All right, see you guys. See you guys next week. Latest.